Marine fisheries in the Philippines are vital to the national economy and rural development. They provide employment to over 1.6 million fishers and contribute significantly to the country's protein supply. The Philippines is also among the world's top fish-producing countries, with its waters home to a diverse array of fish species, coral reefs, and mangroves that support complex marine ecosystems. Good day, everyone. My chosen book is entitled In Turbulent Seas, The Status of Philippine Marine Fisheries. It is where the author presents an urgent need for comprehensive reforms in the fisheries management, stronger enforcement of laws, community-based resource management, and increased awareness and education. Sustainable practices and adaptive strategies are crucial to ensure that the Philippines' marine fisheries can continue to provide for the future generations. So now let's proceed to the author of my chosen book. My chosen book is authored by Jeronimo Silvestre, Stuart J. Green, Alan T. White, Nigel Armada, Cesar Luna, Annabel Cruz Trinidad, and Marciano F. Carrion. So, the author's primary focus is on environmental science, policy analysis, socio-economic development, and technical reference. Their works aim to inform, educate, and guide stakeholders toward sustainable management of marine and coastal resources. So, now let's proceed to some of their authored books. The first one is Assessment Management and Future Directions for Coastal Fisheries in Asian Countries, and the second one is Managing Municipal Marine Capture Fisheries in the Philippines. So the first book, it is a comprehensive regional assessment of coastal fisheries across South and Southeast Asia. So it documents a significant decline in coastal fishery resources, drawing an historic research surveys and data from multiple Asian countries. So this book highlights that fisheries in the region are critically important for food security as well as for livelihood and also sa economic development. However, they are facing overexploitation and resource depletion. The second book, which is the Managing Municipal Marine Capture Fisheries in the Philippines, it is a book that focuses on the management of municipal marine capture fisheries in the Philippines lang talaga siya. It is, yung scope ng book na yun is para lang siya sa Philippines to address issues such as the status and challenges of municipal fisheries. Second, we have the governance, frameworks, community-based management, and policy recommendations. And the last one is to have a strategies for sustainable fisheries management, including stakeholder participation, enforcement, and resource rehabilitation. So, my chosen book is was published in 2004 by Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources in collaboration with Coastal Resource Management, project of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources or the DENR. The book was printed in Cebu City and consists of 378 pages, divided into 5 sections, and composed of 59 case studies. So, now let's proceed to author's viewpoint and purpose. What is the author's viewpoint of this book? So, the author's viewpoint is they found out that there's an urgent necessity for the Philippines to have a sustainable management practices to address sa mga problema or issue natin sa marine fisheries. They are also emphasizes the importance of integrating ecological, economic, and social factors into fisheries management so that we can create a balanced approach that supports not only environmental sustainability and also the livelihoods of local communities. So, the purpose of this book is to provide a comprehensive analysis analysis of the current state of our marine fisheries here in the Philippines, not only focusing on ecological health but also on economic contributions as well as into socioeconomic conditions that affects our fishing communities. There also emphasizes here in this book na kailangan yung engagement or involvement of different stakeholders like government agencies, NGOs, academic institutions, as well as the local communities to have an approaches that supports or promotes sustainable fisheries. So now let's proceed to overview of contents. So dito sa overview of contents, as what I said earlier, it is divided into 5 sections. Section 1, an introduction and overview. Section 2, a status report on marine fisheries and habitats. Yung Section 3, an examination of fisheries management policies and tools. It is like the trial and error of the fisheries management and policies and tools that they implement in such area. And Section 4 naman, it is showcasing different case studies in fisheries assessment and management that we can use to other areas na nagkakaroon din ng mga overfishing, overexploitation, mga habitat losses, ganun. Then, yung Section 5, it is a conclusion and recommendations where you can find the kabuuan or the whole content or the synopsis of the whole content of the book and some recommendations of the author that we can adapt na pwede natin i-implement sa ibang area na nagkakaroon din ng mga issues in marine habitats. So now let's proceed to brief summary. So this book talaga highlights, as what I said earlier, talaga it highlights critical challenges na that faces by the Philippine fishery sector, like overfishing, habitat degradation, and economic inequities. And not just issues like this, but also yung mga post-harvest handling and equitable resource access, and also the poverty among artisanal fishers. So, now let's proceed to the Philippine marine fisheries that is characterized by eight characterization. So the first one is depleted fishery resources. Second one, we have degradation, coastal environment at critical fishery habitat. Dito na magkakaroon tayo ng mga habitat loss because nagkakaroon tayo ng mangrove deforestation, ng mga dynamite fishing, ganoon. Then, yung mga low catches, incomes, anticipated resource rents. Kasi because of depletion of fishery resources nang dahil din sa mga ginagawa natin like deforestation, like mga cyanide, tas mga illegal fishing, nagkakaroon tayo ng mababang catch at so that nagkakaroon din tayo ng mababang income. So, number 4, we have physical losses and reduced value of catches due to improper post-harvest practices and inefficient marketing. Fifth, we have inequitable distribution of benefits from resource use. Sixth, we have intersectoral and intrasectoral conflicts. Dito na yung mga conflicts between commercial and municipal fishers. Then, seventh, we have poverty among small-scale fishers. And 8, we have inadequate systems and structures for fisheries management. And dito na yung mga weak implementation or weak policies na meron tayo, which is the Republic 8550 that ngayon is amend na siya into more stricto na siya, which is the Republic Act 10564. So, I am choosing 3 case studies from the book that I will present to you. The first one is the status of blue crab in the Philippines. Yung blue crab sa Pilipinas po, siya yung pinaka-importante na invertebrate. Bakit? Kasi siya ho yung mahal at mayroong value na mataas na value na ini-export natin sa ibang bansa like sa US and Taiwan. And accordingly, meron tayong 51 species ng mga crabs natin sa bansa at 7 lang ho yung marketable. So, ang top tier doon is yung Portunus pelagicus, which is the blue swimming crab, na 90% of crab landings in the Philippines. Yung mga fishing grounds niya is Visayan Sea, Guimaras Strait, Acid Gulf, Bohol Sea, Samar Sea, Carigara Bay, Sorsogon Bay, Ragay Gulf, Tayabas Bay, and Panguil Bay. This fishing grounds is, belong siya sa 11 fishing grounds in the Philippines na dineclare na overexploited. So, bakit ba overexploited din sila? Ano yung factors? It is because of high bycatch. Kaya nagkakaroon ng overexploitation. And also, irresponsible fishing practices and lack of regulations as well as ghost fishing. So now let's proceed to the status of the Philippine Marine Aquarium Fish Trade. Yung Philippine Marine Aquarium Fish Trade or yung ornamental fish trade is nauso to siya after World War II. So, yung heavily exploited species natin dito sa bansa is yung Dicelos aranus. Ito yung parang kung sino yung may pinaka-unique na patterns, sino yung may pinaka-unique na colors and hybrid, sila yung mga premium or may mataas na value. And accordingly, 70% of ornamental fish in the Philippines is caught through cyanide. Ang legal talaga na pagkuha ng mga ornamental fish is through scope net. However, gusto kasi nating mas madali, maraming kita. That's why gumagamit na yung mga fisher folks natin ng mga cyanide. Kaya 80% of that 70% na galing sa cyanide is namamatay po siya. So yung mga fishing ground natin ng ating mga marine aquarium fish is meron tayo sa Cebu, Bohol, Bataan, Batangas, Davao, Zambales, and Palawan na dinideclare din na yung mga fishing ground na yun is belong sa 11 na overexploited fishing grounds here in the Philippines. So, saan ba nila dinadala yung mga aquarium fish na to, yung mga marine aquarium fish na ito? Dinadala nila ito sa Europe and United States. So, ito yung table for the species comprising the bulk of catches for the marine aquarium fish trade in Philippines. Ito yung mga species na kalamitan na kinukuha sa ating karagatan upang ipag-trade or ibenta sa ibang bansa. So, now let's proceed. Yung dalawang case study na yun kanina, I get that from the section 2. And ito naman ngayon, yung i-discuss ko sa inyo, yung artificial reefs and fish aggregating devices, help or hindrance by Barbaran, that was published in 2004. I get this one to the section 3. So, yung artificial reefs and fish aggregating devices, na-deploy siya here in the Philippines during 1970. However, controversial siya. Kasi sabi sa book is, nakaka-pollute yung mga artificial reefs. Aside from that, wala siyang stricto na guidelines. Kasi po, yung mga artificial reefs na ginagamit natin doon is yung mga worn-out vehicles and mga tires. So, yung mga chemicals doon sa worn-out vehicles and tires natin is nahahalo po siya sa ating karagatan. And also, yung mga fish aggregating devices naman, or yung mga FADs natin, is, inaano po siya, siya yung dahilan kung bakit maraming mga ships na nadisgrasya sa atin or na-aksidente sa karagatan natin na nagli-lead to oil spill that pollutes our karagatan. And aside from that, yung FADs is nagkakaroon tayo ng maraming bycatch na hindi talaga siya pwede. Then, so that the DNR, DLG, DA, the Department of National Defense, has the Administrative Order number 97-01 series of 1997 na binan nila yung mga artificial reefs and mga fish aggregating devices. However, sa 2000 ay nagkakaroon din ng joint memorandum order ang DNR, DA, DILG, and Department of National Defense, which is the order number 2000-01 na which they lead out guidelines on the establishment, management, and utilization of artificial reefs in municipal water. So, pinayagan nila na gumamit tayo ng mga artificial reefs in municipal waters, but stricto na yung mga guidelines nila upang maiwasan yung mga pagka-pollute ng ating karagatan or ng ating mga katubigan. So now let's proceed to 6 critical actions to reverse the decline of Philippine marine fisheries. So yung una talaga is reduction and realization or rationalization of fishing effort. So kailangan natin na magkakaroon tayo ng kuta kung ano yung kukunin lang natin. Second is we need to have protection, rehabilitation, and enhancement of coastal habitats. So kung sira na, mag-rehabilitate natin, hindi yung pabayaan na lang natin. Kung maaari, magkakaroon tayo ng mga sanctuaries, refuges, or mga fishery reserves. Marine reserves, ganun pala. Then, third, we need to improve utilization of harvest. Fourth, we need to enhance local stewardship and management resources. Fifth, we need to have a supplemental alternative livelihood for fishers. And sixth, we need to have capacity building and institutional strengthening. So, where are we now na nga ba? Saan na ba yung status ng ating karagatan ngayon sa Pilipinas? So, accordingly kasi, the Philippine marine fisheries pa rin, they still experiencing mga overfishing, commercial encroachment into municipal waters, habitat degradation. Kasi nga, that threatening food security, the livelihoods of millions Filipinos, as well as the economic of the country. Kaya kailangan ng government na magplano ng sustainable management and urgent reforms and stronger governance na para masugpo yung pagkaubos ng ating marine resources so that we can secure the future of Philippine marine fishers or marine fisheries. So now let's proceed to book evaluation. So the first question is, what did the author promise in the beginning of the book? The author promised that they provide a comprehensive analysis of the status of marine fisheries, and he or she managed to fulfill his or her promise. As yes, they managed to fulfill his or her promise because they effectively analyzed critical issues such as resource depletion, destructive fishing methods, and poverty among fishers. That parang it is like an eye-opener ba sa government natin na we need to have a plan na paano natin sugpuin yung ating problemang ito. So, second, how does the book compare with other books within the same academic or intellectual discipline? So, I compare this one, my chosen book, sa Managing Municipal Marine Captured Fisheries in the Philippines. So, ang in turbulent seas kasi, my chosen book is broad siya. It is a comprehensive analysis, both ecological, economic, and social dimensions through the whole country. While yung Managing Municipal Marine Capture Fisheries kasi, it is a narrow lang. Parang, it is a book that focus to frameworks for managing municipal fisheries and emphasizing local governance and community involvement lang. And now, let's proceed to third question. How do you rate the book in relation to the other volumes written by the same author? I will rate it 10 over 10 kasi. Kasi maganda itong chosen book ko kasi, it is only focuses in the Philippines talaga. Parang na-focus yung Pilipinas, na laman yung anong problema talaga ng Pilipinas, nabigyan talaga siya ng pansin. Yung kinumpare ko kasi na book, yung Assessment, Management, and Future Directions for Coastal Fisheries and Asian Countries, broad kasi siya, Broad siya kasi entire Asia yung kino-cover niya. which is parang hindi talaga magkaroon or hindi talaga mabibigyan talaga ng ganong focus yung Philippines. Kaya, I rate my chosen book as 10 over 10 kasi nakafocus siya sa Pilipinas at parang nabibigyan talaga nila ng mga solusyon, mga recommended solution yung mga problema here in the Philippines in terms of marine fisheries. So now let's proceed to how well the book has achieved its goal. So, the book successfully achieved its goal of providing a comprehensive and accessible overview of the state of marine fisheries in the Philippines. So, they successfully scattered information, they successfully educate or bring awareness to the Filipinos to the real situation of our marine ecosystem or our marine fisheries. So, what the book has left out? For me, as I read the book, siguro kailangan pa nilang i-explore talaga yung impact ng climate change. Kasi yung finofocus, hindi talaga sila masyadong nakafocus sa climate change. Then, how is the book related to Fish 14? So, this book kasi, since Fish 14 of ours, student of BS Fisheries, capture fisheries. So, align silang dalawa. We are discussing the implementation of fisheries management tools and policies. Tapos, this book also discussing the different fisheries management tools and policies that we can adopt or we can modify in the near future if kami naman yung magiging fisheries professional in the future. So that we can address the issues na until ngayon is hindi talaga siya mawala-wala. Siguro, hindi namin siya ma-stop, pero we can minimize it naman or we can reduce the issues that we have here in the Philippines.